Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to hear and see all of you today. We are bigger today. We have a big company in the group today. I'm very glad to hear all of you. Jennifer, Kyle, Lillian, Daisy, Polly, Catherine. So officially today is our first workshop on menstrual awareness. And I'm very excited. So for those who is the first time with us, I would like to remind you that in this workshop, we are learning to embrace, cherish, and love our menstruation. We are raising our menstrual awareness, and I would like to remind you some of the reasons of raising menstrual awareness. So first of all, this is a personal growth. And by practicing observing menstrual awareness, menstruation, and looking at your emotional shifts and your feelings, you develop your awareness, and not only your awareness of menstruation, but also awareness of your life cycle. Secondly, we manage our sensitivity. So when we observe the cycle, we understand that all ebbs and flows are natural, and we become more calm, we develop self-care, and we are not so anxious about our menstruation. Also, being menstrual aware, we develop our fertility, and you remember that being fertile is not only giving birth to a child, but it is also giving birth to a project. It also develops your creativity, your attitude to life. You see more beauty in life. And also, if we talk about pain, when you start observing every cycle of your menstruation, you naturally help yourself with food, with exercising, with journaling. So with time, you feel less pain, you feel less physical disorders, mental disorders, and even spiritual disorders with your cycle. Another very positive benefit of menstrual awareness is kindness and compassion to yourself first. So when you become kind with yourself, when you are compassionate with yourself, when you develop self-care, you can build a beautiful community where you also start understanding your sister, your mother, your female colleague at work, and you build a beautiful community of sisterhood when you share and support each other. So these are all the benefits, not all of them, but the main benefits of being menstrually aware. And also, I would like to remind you that menstruation is a built-in root to kindness, spirituality, power, creativity. And we also remember, or re-remember actually, that we are already coded for balance. We are already coded for the good life. So when we develop menstrual awareness, we start remembering, innovating, re-educating ourselves. And when we observe our natural ebbs and flow, we synchronize with the life cycle. When we are aware of our menstrual cycle, we become naturally aware of our life cycle, and we start also be more conscious about our breathing cycle, creativity cycle, daily life cycle, etc. So it is not, we're not only raising here menstrual awareness and consciousness, but life awareness and consciousness at the same time. So when we allow ourselves to acknowledge the shifts of our emotions and feelings, we benefit from each phase of our menstruation and each phase of our life at the same time. So also I would like to mention that menstruation is a path of empowerment, embodiment of yourself, you as you are in every cycle of your life, every cycle of your menstruation, whether you are beautiful, active, and sexy and driven, or whether you are a little bit more anxious or a little bit moody or a little bit even angry or rageous. We just understand that this is the phase of our life, phase of our cycle, and we don't judge ourselves and we don't judge others at the same time. So when we are conscious of how we use and how we develop on our menstrual path, let's say, and when we are conscious with how we use our uterus, we expand, we become wiser. And also, it is very important thing to remember, to understand, to embody that our uterus, it's not only a device for giving birth to a child or children. It is not only the device to give birth to some project, but it is also a device for pleasure, for health, for creativity. So, and if you pay attention on the structure of our muscles, of our uterus muscles, you will also see that this is very similar to our throat. So this is how the feminine, the divine feminine, express itself through our womb. We create, we speak out of the womb. So this is a very important thing to remember. So today we are here to synchronize, to learn to synchronize with our cycle, to help us on the way of every phase. It means we're going to talk about some hormones, the main ones, some exercises that we can do or not do, or food, some natural supplements that we can take to make our life better, to feel much better, and to enjoy and love, embrace our menstruation as we are here, gathered here to learn to do this. So first of all, I would like to share a slide with you of our meeting. So here are the 4 seasons. I will tell you shortly. There are 4 seasons that we go through. We start with winter. This is the menstruation phase, and we start tracking our menstruation from the first day. First day of menstruation means a good flow, not spotting, but the good flow. And the archetype of this phase will be the witch, wise woman. Then we go smoothly into the spring. This is a follicular pre-ovulation phase. It starts from the 7th to 14th day normally of our menstruation, and the archetype is the maiden or the virgin. Then we go to the summer. The archetype is the mother, and this is the ovulation, sometimes the most happiest phase of our life, when we really feel on the peak of everything, of the beauty, of the drive, etc. And then we go smoothly to the autumn. This is the wizard phase, the enchanted phase. This is a post-ovulation, pre-menstruation luteal phase of our menstruation. So we will go deeper into each phase today, but first I invite you to talk about 2 halves of our menstruation, and I would like to mention that there are two waves of our menstruation. The one is a positive wave and the other one is a negative wave. So why is it so? The positive wave, it is a summer and spring and summer, when we really feel high spirited, when we experience a lot of activity, mental activity, brainstorming, we feel ourselves most attractive, most outcome going. This is the young energy. So we are active, we are ready to make decisions. So mostly it is a male energy. We are in charge. Our ego is strong. We are confident, and we are connected with the outer world during this time. We expand and we have a lot of tools to do whatever we need to do. And actually we feel like we are capable of doing everything. And the negative wave, let's say the negative wave of, or it is also called via negativa or via positiva, it doesn't mean that it is good to be in summer and spring, and it is bad to be in autumn and winter. But yeah, let's say like this, a negative wave, it is mostly the darkest part of our feelings and emotions, but at the same time you are very self-centered, you look inside yourself. So negative wave, it is winter and autumn. This is in energy, mostly feminine. So normally you are moody, normally you are a little bit like low spirited, you feel a little bit, you could feel exhausted or maybe just a little bit tired or out of the source. You are internal, you are inside yourself, but at the same time, this is the big source of creativity, because you are looking inside yourself, you come home to yourself. So now you are not doing nets, you are not doing networking, you are not socializing, you come home to yourself. So this is a very important phase. These are two phases are very important for self-awareness, self-acceptance, surrendering, also inner focus, release, and at the same time vulnerability. So what is very important during these two phases, these two waves, positive and negative, is for you to understand which wave do you align yourself with. Why is it important to do is just to embody your power, embody your feelings, and accept yourself as you are. So if you feel that you align yourself mostly with a positive wave, it means that you learn, that you need to learn when to rest and when to let something go. Because if you are always on the positive wave, you are ready to give away, you are ready to work, you have a lot of drive, you do for somebody else. So you may just be overwhelmed and exhausted. So if you are mostly aligned with this wave, you need to know and to learn how to build the boundaries and know when you have to rest and when you need to let go. And also it is very important to face the boundaries, to understand where you have to put the limits. If you are mostly aligned with a negative wave, if you feel that you feel more for winter and for autumn in your cycle, it means that you are a very sensitive person. Yeah, no, this is me. I am mostly aligned with winter and autumn. Actually, autumn is my favorite season. So you are home, you are you feel tension for all of this. Like you are not only sensitive with yourself, but you feel for everybody. You feel everybody's emotion, feelings. So, but at the same time, it's supposed that you are an expert of self-care. You are an expert of putting the boundaries, putting the limits, but at the same time, you could see that you are a little bit more or even too vulnerable and sometimes too raw. So mostly negative wave people, let's say, they know how to soothe the nervous system. They know how to take care of yourself and be kind to the others. But sometimes there is a lack of activity and, let's say, being outgoing. What is the most important task of these two waves of our cycle is to embrace and to employ menstrual awareness, to understand on which wave you are now and what action you need to take. And now let's have a detailed look at every phase of our menstrual cycle. I would share a screen again just for you to have a look briefly. And we are going to talk about the first phase, which is winter. So as I have already told you before, this is the first day of our menstruation, the first day of a good flow of our menstruation. And when you start tracking, this will be your day number 1. And but there is one very important thing we have to mention before we start talking about winter. So a couple of days or maybe even a couple of hours before the winter, the menstruation phase, we experience such a phenomena as the void. And we know that the void is a kind of an emptiness or like vacuum. So what does it mean in the frame of our menstruation, the void? The void means that, okay, of course, everybody, women experience it differently, but normally this is the time when you are very self-centered, but at the same time, you can feel that you are a little bit distracted. Maybe you feel a little bit like floating. Maybe you feel that you are not very much connected with your body. And but this is a very, very important inward focus. So actually this void space, it could be 2 days, a couple of hours before you start menstruating. This is the place of a psychological, mental, and spiritual highest peak of the intuition and sensitivity. So as I told you already, every woman can feel it differently, but at this period of time, it is a very short period of time, but you are on the peak of your intuition, sensitivity. You can get a very important insight during this time. You can observe very deep levels of yourself during this time. Also, it is very important to mention that you, at this period, the void time, you are mostly exposed to the stressful situations. So what actions would you like are recommended to take during this period of time is to avoid very busy places, to avoid demanding people, to avoid a lot of communication, and just observe and enjoy your emptiness. And another essential thing that to mention is that the void is not the weakness. The void is a very natural phase of a woman, a very natural entering into the menstruation. So we shouldn't judge ourselves for being distracted, for being not completely focused in outer or even inner world, and not to be connected with our bodies. And now let's go to the winter. So the winter, as I told you before, is the first day of the menstruation. Normally, it is the new moon. It is associated with the new moon. The element of menstruation phase, the winter, is water. And the archetype is the witch, wise woman. So this is the time of stillness. It is also associated with death and rebirth. This is the time of release, let go, relax, rest. So during this time, our subconscious rises, our inner self, inward rises. We have a peak of creativity. We reflect a lot, and we reach the core of the things. The key words of this phase could be spirit, dream, inner self, intuition, insights. There are also some superpowers of this phase. It is time alone, quietness, and space. As we all know, there is also a shadow side of each cycle of all of us. So the shadow side of winter phase, it is exhaustion and very low boundaries. So what is very much recommended during this phase of our menstruation, as I have already mentioned it in the pre-event, this is letting go, rest, and do nothing. So if it is a possibility that you forget the to-do list, if you are able to lay responsibilities, to talk to your family members, your homies, your roomies, even your colleagues, and delegate some responsibilities, lay responsibilities, and just rest and do nothing, this is the best you can do for yourself and for your wellness during this menstruation phase. If you remember, and I will remind you that if you rest, if you lie down, if you let go during the menstruation phase, the oxytocin level of the hormone of love and pleasure rises. So just do nothing. Rest as much as you can, lie down, reflect, release, let go, enjoy. This is the best time for evaluating, journaling, and creation. But you do like a very easy creation. I mean, like drawing, singing, and something very relaxing activities. If we talk about some physical exercises, you are welcome to do some in yoga. I strongly recommend do some asanas like butterfly or child pose for releasing the pain if you have one. You should avoid twisting during your menstruation, and also you can walk during the menstruation or do some very low intensity exercises. It is also recommended to swim if you feel comfortable with swimming during the menstruation, and floating is also one of the very positive exercises during your inner winter, let's say. The skin during this cycle, the phase of the cycle, is dry. It means that it is very important to hydrate yourself, to drink a lot of water. And I'm talking about clean, pure water, very much qualified water. And also, it's a very good idea to drink melted water and alkalized water. To alkalize water, there is a very easy recipe. You take water, you put a little bit on the tip of your spoon, or on tip of the knife, you put a little bit of sea salt or Himalayan salt. You squeeze a lemon juice, you put organic raw honey, and a little bit of baking soda. So that's this way you alkalize your water, and you will be hydrated on the cellular level. It is very recommended to avoid coffee during your menstruation, dairy products during your menstruation, all kind of heavy food that needs a lot of digestion process. It is very recommended to also avoid drinking alcoholic drinks and very salty products. What is good to eat and drink during the menstruation? Warm food, I mean soups, veggie soups. If you eat meat, and you can eat like bone broth, and it is very popular now to take bone broth because it gives you a lot of power, a lot of strength, and all kind of warm products that give you, we have in Spanish, there is a word, and it is very important word for menstruation phase. It is called apapacho. It is a Mayan word. Apapacho means to give love. So normally it could be like a self-love as well, when you hug each other, when you love yourself, when you are very kind to yourself. And if we send somebody else, like we can send a message like apapachar or give some apapacho, it means that I send you a lot of love. So this is the phase when you eat warm products, you relax, you enjoy. So you get this warmth inside your body. It is very good to take healthy fats during your menstruational phase. It is very recommended to, if you like salty products, you eat better sea salt, and all kind of seaweeds and sea products are very healthy for this phase of our cycle, because they are rich in minerals. Also, it is important to take potassium products and omega-3. I mean salmon, I mean like all kinds of fish, and what else? You can also eat beef, red beef, and very important thing, all kinds of iron products, because when you menstruate, you lose blood, you lose iron. So all kind of root veggies like beetroot, beetroot, carrots, sweet potatoes. If you are a vegetarian, you can make a very nice beet soup with sweet potatoes and carrots. It would be sweet, it would be warm and very rich in iron. Also, all kind of beans are very good for you during this period of time. Very nice could be for you a ginger drink, mostly if you experience pain and cramps. Also, ginger drink is very good for women who have already entered premenopause and menopause phases. Ginger drink helps you to avoid the heats, and also when you are menstruating, it gives the heat to your body, and it helps you to avoid the pains, premenstrual pains, postmenstrual pains, and menstrual pain at the same time. I would strongly recommend you to take ashwagandha. This is a very popular now at this time like a superfood root from India. This is also called a yogi vitamin. Ashwagandha gives you a lot of energy. It regulates the sugar in your body, and when we menstruate, we are very insulin sensitive. So ashwagandha also gives you a lot of strength. Why it is called yogi vitamin, it gives you really a lot of strength. So when we are menstruating, we feel this fatigue, exhaustion, and so on. Ashwagandha will help you to feel good and strong if you need to go out, for example, or just not to be so much overwhelmed. And it is also very complete supplement. Dandelion is very healthy, tea or fresh salad. And if you have ever heard about maca, this is another supplement, very popular and trendy now. It comes from Peru. Normally, you can get it in powder. So you can put it in your cereals, you can put it in your smoothie, and it is very good for fertility. It gives you also a lot of strength. And a very popular Mexican drink, cacao. First of all, it is serotonin, it is oxytocin, it gives you strength, it gives you pleasure. This is a very, or dark chocolate, of course. So you can take cacao beans, you can make hot chocolate drink. It could be with milk, it could be without milk, it could be veggie milk. Also, it is a very nice cacao with turmeric, with curcuma. You can make it with different kinds of milk, because as I told you before, we should avoid dairy during the menstruation. So you could take some almond milk or coconut milk or oats milk, whatever veggie milk you can get. You put a half spoon of curcuma, you use cacao, organic cacao, alkalized cacao, or cacao beans, and you make your hot chocolate drink, which will be very happy drink, energizing drink, and it will level up your oxytocin and serotonin hormones. So what else? If we talk about lifestyle during the winter, yeah, it's better to stay at home with yourself. You can even watch some movie, not a very emotional one. So it depends. So better focus on creativity. After that, we smoothly go into the spring. As I told you already, this is the time of the maiden, the virgin. It is our teenage time, like we feel like teenage, and this is a pre-ovulation phase. So what happens there? We start feeling active. Our cocoon, or we start blossoming, so our flowers start to blossom, and we feel it is a growing moon time. The element of this phase is air. And we start feeling the increase of the consciousness, and our awareness also start raising. Actually, during this phase, we feel happy, energetic, driven, and secure. So as I am very in my spring and summer now, I would like to ask you a question, if I'm not too fast, and if you absorb the information well. If you want me to slow down, you can text me in the chat or ask a question. You are very much welcome. So we feel happy, active, energetic, driven, and our sexual energies also start raising. Lilian?
I have a question for you, Zinnia.
Yeah.
What if, because this is like when I'm not in tune with my body, right?
Uh-huh.
I find it that my emotion fluctuate before having a period. Like sometimes I know when, sometimes I don't even count.
Okay.
And yeah, so I find it that, you know, I always reflect back when I have it. I was like, oh, okay, no wonder, sort of like go back. And I know that is coming is I would binge chocolate. So yeah.
Yeah, so this is why it is important to synchronize with our menstruation. And when you are in this void period before you start menstruation, normally we feel some kind of a pain. The more synchronized we are with our cycle, the less pain we experience, less premenstrual pain, less cramps. But for example, as you say that you feel for chocolate, I always feel like this kind of pinch in the lower back. Like I feel this pinch, I feel a little bit like tension in my womb, and I understand, okay, it is coming. And so also when you are getting closer to your winter, for example, in my case, and I know that some other women also experience this, your hunger start to rise. Like you feel that you need to eat more. And actually, it is a very important question that you raised, Lillian, because we have to be careful with food intake before menstruation and during menstruation, because sometimes we feel like lots of cravings and you start eating and eating. So what actually you don't do good for your body, because your body, apart from releasing, apart from bleeding, have to digest. So if you digest at the same time, bleed at the same time, you can experience a lot of pain. So if you are on the learning path of synchronization with your menstruation cycle, you will understand mostly that you start bleeding soon when you feel like a little bit of pain, a little bit more hunger, cravings for sugar like chocolate, ice cream, or something like sweet that I normally don't eat. So you start understand, okay, I'm going. Sometimes we also feel our skin started to, we have some acne that start to like appear in some peoples and so on. So we could understand. And normally there is some pain in the lower belly or in the lower back. Did I answer your question? Okay, thank you.
Yes,
So we
thank you.
continue with spring. Spring, it's a seventh normally. If we talk about 28 regular menstrual cycle, which is not for all of the women. For example, my cycle is between 22 25 days, and with the time, with a practice of synchronizing to with your personal cycle, you will understand how long it is for you. It could be 22, 25, 28, or even 30 days. And you will experience, because some women are in their inner winter 7 days, some are 5 days, some are 3 days. So it depends on your personal unique body structure. So, but normally spring is day 7, day 14. And during this time, we feel active and we feel like we are capable of everything. We can do everything this time. We are very playful, joyful. We are vital. Our mental activity rises. We are ready to learn. We are ready to analyze. We are ready to do the research. We have clarity. We see more clearly the problem, the solution of the problem, and we are ready for structural thinking. The key words for this phase of our cycle is to be tender, to allow yourself to fail, to allow yourself to make a mistake, because it could be very tricky, you know, when you feel like you are capable of doing everything and you have to stop and say, okay, I allow myself to make a mistake. I allow myself to fail in some task. And also, we should allow ourselves to be vulnerable at that time. And of course, our superpowers are new ideas, experimenting, fresh eye. We can see clearly everything. We have a fresh look at each idea, solution, problem. And the shadow side would be too much, like too much of everything, too much of activity, too much of solution, too much brainstorming, and at the same time you could be too vulnerable. So we have to be very conscious and very attentive at this time with these aspects. This is the intermediate phase between menstruation and ovulation. And during this time, our estrogen rises. What it means, we have a lot of physical activity at this time. Our energy boosts, our brain functions at its best, our mood is really good, we are ready to go outside, outward, we start to build nets, we can brainstorm a lot of things, fresh ideas, find solutions, make friends, go to the date. So we really feel good and ready to come outside. If we talk about physical activities this is a good time for cardio exercises. I mean, running, dancing, cycling, swimming, doing some a little bit more active yoga, kundalini yoga, you can already start doing. So you do more activities. If you go for a walk, you walk faster, you can do the jogging. So whatever activity you could do with your body and with your brain as well. You have to take an advantage of this time. If we talk about lifestyle during this phase, it is a creativity, making big decisions, developing new projects. If we talk about romantic relationships, we have more drive, we can go for a date, we can be more creative in our relationships, we can try new things with our partners, and yeah, we really feel good during this time. The skin is in the optimal condition during this time. We are glowing, we are released because we have already bleeded everything and let go everything we didn't need anymore. So during this time, it is good to take light and vibrant foods, high in proteins. It could be, if you are a vegetarian, you still eat a lot of beans. It is very important to take vitamin E, avocado, all kinds of veggies. You take rice, oats, pasta if you eat. You eat less cheese, less yogurt, but you already can start eating some raw dairy products. Dry fruits are very important during this time. All kind of butters, I mean, peanut butter, almond butter, walnuts, and flax seeds and pumpkin seeds are the best during this time. And good to drink will be raspberry leaf tea. What else I can tell you about spring? Do you have any questions about our spring, inner spring? If no, I move further. Daisy.
Oh, so you said this is within the the cycle, right? 26 days. I think I'm 28 days.
28, yeah.
Okay. How many days usually it lasts for the springtime?
Springtime, usually we divide in four equal parts. Like winter is first 7, spring 7, 14, summer 14, 21, and autumn 21, 28. But you find out for yourself how long is your cycle, and sometimes your ovulation could be longer and your spring could be shorter, or your menstruation could be, your inner winter could be shorter, not 7 days, but even 4 or 5 days, and your post menstruation pre-ovulation time will be longer. So it depends on you. You observe, you feel how long you bleed, how long is your bleeding cycle. I don't mean spots at this time. And then you see your springtime, like spring and summer that I'm going to talk about now. We start your positive wave. So this is the time when you really feel high emotionally, your mood is really good. So you see, normally the ovulation, when the ovulation you also feel it. You normally will feel a little bit of tension in your womb. Yeah, I always, for example, in my case, I always know exactly the day of my ovulation because I feel this, strong, not painful, but tension in my womb. I feel it like, yeah, okay, ready today. So I don't know, maybe this is the practice, and okay, definitely it is the practice. It is a tracking experience, but for every woman has a unique body, has a unique system, and you will, with the experience, you will understand, and tracking, you will understand how long is every phase. It shouldn't be divided in equal parts, but normally it is like 7 days for each phase.
My also another question. I guess like at the beginning I got confused. So like for instance, every 28 days I have period. The period will not be part of the cycle, is it, or is also the part of the cycle? I mean, I know the ovulation, it could be the time that I'm not having period, right? So
yeah, it depends. It depends if you are on birth control, for example. I'm also going to touch this question. So actually, when you are on hormonal birth control, there is your ovulation is like suppressed. So actually, you don't ovulate, and like tracking and synchronizing with the cycle is possible, but way more difficult, because if you don't ovulate because of some of the reasons, there are 2 of them: you are on hormonal birth control, or you are pregnant. So if you are on hormonal birth control, you don't ovulate. So it means that the autumn also would be different. It would be more difficult to track your cycle, to not to track, but yes, to track and to synchronize with your cycle, because your hormones don't change naturally. Did I answer your question, Daisy?
I see. And also I have a question. It's like for instance, I have about like 5 days having period. Does that period time considered to be the winter time or outside the cycle?
You mean you started bleeding?
Yeah, the actual like few days while I'm bleeding, is it part of the cycle or outside the cycle?
You have to observe. First of all, you have to observe what kind of bleeding is it, if you are spotting or like really bleeding. So you start tracking again. You take this bleeding, even if it is long, like if it is not miscarriage, or if it is not like a hormonal disorder for some stressful situation or for some heavy work. Sometimes it happens that we lift something really heavy and out of a sudden we start bleeding. So you observe, and if you see that you bleed for several days, it is not miscarriage. You don't experience heavy pains, and you understand that you shouldn't go. You shouldn't go for like to the doctor and check yourself. You start tracking again. Sometimes our cycle changes, like out of a sudden. Sometimes we can change. Yeah, we can change because of different events. Let's say it could be stress. Sometimes you are over happy and you also can start bleeding. So sometimes it happens, and you start tracking again, and you observe. Is this time it is 28 or 25 or 20 days again, or if the situation repeat. So if the situation repeat, maybe you should go to the doctor for a medical check.
I see. Yeah, because I thought about the whole I misunderstood. I thought the fourth season is related to only the period of time when I'm bleeding. The pre-bleed or spotting time in the winter, in the fall.
You start spotting in autumn. Like this is 1 or 2 days, and normally you spot during the autumn premenstruation. This is called a premenstruation. We are going to talk about this phase later. It is autumn. It is the last phase of our cycle when you already feel like preparing for bleeding.
Oh, that makes so much sense, because autumn is that kind of like a metal, like a descending energy, and it does feel like that kind of like holding on to this metallic descending energy, like
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. We are coming to autumn, Daisy. Yes.
Thank you.
Autumn is this phase you are asking for. And yes. I see a question. Did I answer your question now?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you, Xenia.
You're welcome. Thank you. And I see a question from Victoria. What are the best tracking apps? Yes, there are free ones. It is not necessary to buy. Before I was using one which was called Flor. It's FLOR. It was really nice because I think it was a Russian one, because I got a lot apart from tracking, apart from reminders that you are going to bleed soon, or you are in your ovulation time. And also there was like, this is the best time to get pregnant, or you are not going to get pregnant this time. It was very handy, but also it was full. It is still, you can find this application. It also provides you with interesting, important information about cycles, about phases, about pains, cramps, cravings. So actually there is a lot of information from doctors. You can learn and read a lot of stuff. And now I am using the application. It is called, just a second, I forgot. It's like Track My Cycle or something. Yes, My Tracker. It is also free of charge, pretty handy, very easy to use. So, but there are lots of them, and you don't have to pay. Did I answer your question, Victoria? I hope I did. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, Polly, yes, this one I am talking about, Flow. It is a pink one. Yeah, it is a very nice one. You also can get some more information from this application, extra information or about the healthy stuff. It used to be free of charge. Now, yes, you have to pay. So coming back to spring. This is the time I'm sorry, we are going to summer, where we have already finished with spring. We are going to summer. So summertime is the time of ovulation. Normally it's day 14, 21, and this is the best time of our cycle for women, because you really feel on the peak of your beauty, of your sexuality, sensuality. You are active, you are driven. We are active, we are driven, and we celebrate ourselves during this period of time. We celebrate our achievements, and the estrogen is on the peak. The energy and motivation is on the peak. This is a very positive time of our cycle. It is a full moon according to the moon cycles. It would be our personal full moon. The element is earth, and the archetype will be the mother, and there is also a very nice word for this archetype is empress, that you really feel like the queen, the goddess, the most beautiful, the most of the most. So this time you feel a lot of desire for pleasure, you feel balanced, you are very much confident and self-assured, you are again capable of everything, and you feel like the best of the best. Yes, there is also a lot of care for the others, as the archetype is the mother. You take care, you are very much out of the world, like with everybody. You are ready to support, to help, to do for the people. It is the time of maturity. You have maximum energy. There is a lot of nurturing and nutrition during this period of the time. You are very generous during this time, generous to give, to help, to support, to nurture somebody. There is the time of love, radiance, fertility. So actually during the ovulation, these 5-7 days are the best days to get pregnant, and the dangerous days if you are not ready for this event in your life. So actually ovulation is the only phase of your cycle when you actually can get pregnant. This is the time for building and developing the relations, to make resolutions, to build nets. This is the time of empathy and productivity. Okay, the key words is celebrate yourself, sexuality, and saying yes in your life. Attention, when you plan, this is not the time for planning, because as you feel the best of the best, the most beautiful, the most active, the best mood, you are really feel high, you don't plan during the ovulation, because you can say to lots of things and events in your future, and when you come to your autumn and in a winter, you understand like, oh, I have to reschedule this trip. I don't really feel like going now for this friend meeting. So ovulation is not the time of planning. This is the time of saying yes to something new, to go to the new restaurant if you like eating out, to go for a date, for some creative date, night date, to go dancing, to make friends, but to try something new, but you don't plan during the ovulation time, because afterwards you will have to reschedule. The superpowers of this period of time is create. You really feel like superwoman. You can do everything. You can attract like everybody, and you feel at ease. Everything is easy, everything is acceptable. You're like you are ready and you can do whatever happens. The shadow side of this phase could be mania, because you are very active, you are very powerful, you can lost yourself in activity. And also the overwhelming, when you do, you can really feel exhausted, so you have to be attentive with your energy spending at this time. If we to talk about exercises, it will be high intensive exercises. I mean, Ashtanga yoga, for example, or kickboxing, some martial arts, or running a marathon. So high impact exercises. So this is the strongest time. You feel stronger, your body, you have a lot of stamina. So this is the time um, to use your energy for good. If you are having some kind of job interviews, or maybe you need to do some networking, or some a lot of physical activity, so ovulation is the best time. If there is like a job interview or changing job, or realizing some new project, ovulation is the best time, because you really feel at the peak of everything. If we talk about relationship, this is the also you there is a lot of drive. You can start new things, you can do some creative dates with your partners, so it is a really joyful time. Food. During this time you eat a lot of raw food. I mean, green leaves, smoothies, fresh juices, lots of fresh vegetables and fruits. Again, we consume maca. You can use maca in different, as I told you before, you can put it in your smoothie, or if you eat some cereal or porridge in the morning, you can just sprinkle it, or you can take a spoonful of it. Everything green is the best time during the summertime, ovulation time. Sesame seeds, quinoa, all types of smoothies, and also fish is very good for health during this time. I mean, tuna, salmon, and shrimps are really good for this time. Your skin is at the best condition. The skin is glowing, radiant, the skin is perfect. And you remember that at any phase of your period of your cycle, you have to hydrate yourself. Questions about summertime?
I just want to say I love the summer feeling.
Yeah, I also love the summertime. I think all of us love the summertime, because you really feel good, great, and like, wow, and you are capable of everything, and there is so much doing at this time. Actually, you fulfill your to-do list if you have one. Like, there is no procrastination this time. There is no this like tiredness and overwhelming and exhaustion, and you don't feel like, oh, again I have to do this. You feel like, oh yes, I have to do this, or maybe, okay, again I can create, I can do the project, I can bring some new ideas, I have a fresh look. Yes, actually summertime is really, really positive. But remember, Daisy, you could be overwhelmed and you can lose your boundaries during this time. So you have to be attentive and cautious. And also it is a very important thing to remember, whatever we feel on the positive wave or on the negative wave, we should always remember every phase will end. It will finish. So if we feel too high, it will be also too low to fall. So you remember, I feel really high, I am capable of everything, but it will finish, and it is a very big chance that I will be overwhelmed after that. We don't judge, we just let go, and we are very aware of every cycle. its beginning and inevitable end. If you don't mind, I move to the autumn, if there is no more questions. Okay, fall, autumn. This is a very beautiful time as well. Nevertheless, we come down to the negative wave, like a little bit of darkness. It is a luteal phase of our cycle. It is post-ovulation and pre-menstruation phase. Normally it's day 21, 28, but you observe for yourself and you adapt the days of your cycle for your unique body, your unique system. The archetype of this of this phase is enchantress or sorceress, wizard, magician. So actually there is a lot of magic during this phase of your cycle. The element is fire. This is the time of transformation, harvesting. So everything you have planned and created and designed during the spring and summertime, you harvest in autumn. So that's why I told you before, it is important not to plan a lot during the spring and summertime, because in autumn you come back home to yourself, your activity slows down, your mood is also goes down, so you don't have so much strength, so much source to do everything you have planned during the summer and springtime. So in autumn you start harvesting, you start transformation, and if you planned a lot, you start rescheduling. Yeah, so this is the time of wild woman. You have an increase of subconscious awareness. During this time, you also get a lot of insights. Your intuition is rising fast. Your imagination is also on the peak. And as it is a intermediate phase, also your progesterone hormone is rising. Here, I would like to mention a very important thing. Your progesterone this is the hormone of a nervous system soothing. So if your progesterone is high, it is a very good chance that you won't be so worried, you won't be so anxious, you won't be so depressed, or you can even feel pretty good. But your progesterone hormone depends a lot on your ovulation. If you ovulate well, your progesterone is high, which means good, stable, soothed, and eased nervous system. So if you ovulate good, your progesterone is high. The estrogen goes lower. It is also very important that both of these hormones are balanced, because if the estrogen is high, there is a lot of activity, and a lot of overwhelm. If the progesterone is not high enough, you experience a lot of anxiety, worriness, distractness, depression. So it is very important. So why we talk about the natural synchronization with your cycle, avoiding birth control, hormonal birth control, because when you are on hormonal birth control, you don't ovulate properly, your ovulation is suppressed, so it means your progesterone is not rising. So it means that very close to menstruation, it is a very high risk that you don't feel well, you feel really low, moody, rageous, furious, and so this is an important thing to mention. So as it is a time of a wild woman, this is a time of evaluation. You start coming back home to yourself. There is a lot of creativity. There is still a lot of sexuality, but we already transmute our sexuality in creativity, in creation. And this is the time of imagination, a lot of magic in your life. And at the same time, there is a lot of destruction. Yeah, like you start already evaluate and destruct some things, restruct the things at the same time. The intuition is very high. This is the time for nesting. Lilian, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I just come across a podcast when I was listening to those feminine and masculine. This is the first time I heard that some of the women actually take a pill to stop bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Yes.
is the side effect of that?
So when we take a pill to stop bleeding,
Yeah.
actually it would be difficult for us to synchronize with our cycle, because let's say you interfere artificially in your natural cycle, not only menstruational cycle, but also cycle of your life. Because it is very much connected with the masculine, because now we are in this world of achieving, acting, doing, and women are doing a lot now. And this is a kind of a let's say maybe stereotype, or maybe like some achievement we need to get to. So, or if we are professional sportmen, sport women, and this is a marathon to run, of course menstruation is not something I really want to experience if I am set to win. Yes, to win the marathon, to win the competition, to achieve a position. So if you take pill, you interfere in your natural cycle. So it will take time to come back again in the natural flow of things, and you will have to learn again to synchronize with your body, with your cycle, and to track again and observe all the changes that are happening in your body. Did I answer your question, Lilian?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you as well. Thank you for your question. Autumn. We come back to
Daisy
autumn.
have question. I think Daisy had question.
Yeah, Daisy have question. I see.
Oh, it's actually not a question. It's like a comment. I recently also heard someone talking about that in one of my also related to blood mystery class, and someone, a classmate, mentioned about like for women who take artificial, like whether it's medical drugs or medicine to kind of like interfere with the cycle, and the body would actually accumulate like kind of like pent up anger, that kind of fire, like just pent up within the body. It can cause like sound like a unresolved energy, kind of like manifest as anger, like don't even know where it's coming from. Because we build up like a this communication how to say it, lack of communication in the body.
Yes, exactly, because the body, it is a kind of, we can make an analogy with like a comfort zone, when everything is flowing smoothly, even if it is a positive or negative way, we have a structure. Yes, your body somehow get to used to and synchronize with the natural flow. The body is ready, like now I'm in my winter, then I'm going to spring, now I'm going to summer, and boom, artificial interfere. So the body feels first shock, then rage, like what's going on? Yes, why is this happening to me? Why I'm not allowed to flow naturally. So this is a kind of a shock. And also this is a hormonal disorder. You start to distract things. You actually interfere in the natural flow. So absolutely naturally, the body feels shocked, rages, furious, and angry because we are not like allowing the natural flow of things to happen. But yeah, mostly it is connected with masculine energy when we want to gain, to win, to achieve, to get, and yes, to what else? To meet needs, to meet expectations. So mostly this is the reason why we take a pill. Yes, like to stop the menstruation. But when we are aware, when we really understand the reason to love, to embrace, and to cherish our menstruation, when we really understand that this is the time for us to release, to cleanse, to purge, and allow ourselves to pause, to stop, and just love ourselves, it is very possible that we won't feel the need to take a pill and interfere artificially in our natural flow of cycle and life cycle at the same time. Are you satisfied, Daisy? Lilian?
I love it. I
Great.
love my cycle. Thank you.
I really appreciate your questions. I am very happy for this interaction. Thank you so much.
I wanted to add something is because it's not only that one pill, because it can be like, oh, why my headache? And then Panadol pop in. And then, oh, why I don't have energy pill pop in, or the drinks. And it's like 7 hours if those people who work. So those accumulate more coffees, more energy drinks, more Panadols, or more other pills. There's like, you're putting a lot of like toxin to your body.
Yes,
so
exactly.
to tune back with that synchronicity, it can take months. Or not even coming back. Like those periods not coming back for the whole year. That sounds like scary. So
yeah, Lilian, you are right. If we are not ready like to synchronize naturally with our system, sometimes there is no time to observe your natural flow, to track your natural life cycle because of the job things to do, or just the rejection of ourselves. Because yeah, menstruation, you are really in the darkness. Autumn, you are entering the darkness, and sometimes we don't like to be in the darkness, so we prefer to drink some coffee to feel more energetic maybe, or to take a pill to do more things, because not every woman can afford herself to lie down 3 days during the menstruation. Yes, so not every woman have maybe this opportunity, but at the same time we can still give a permission, allow ourselves to slow down, even if I can't lose work, like, or not work at this time, or don't complete the task. Yes, I give myself a kind of a aim, or maybe let's say the instruction. Okay, you continue what you do, but inside you slow down, you just observe, you pause from time to time. Maybe if you're still in the office, you can go 5 minutes, close your eyes in some dark space or in some silent space. So still there is a possibility. But yeah, if you are all the time energizing yourself, drinking coffee, or maybe taking some pills to boost your energy, yeah, it could take really long time to naturally synchronize with your cycle, menstrual cycle, life cycle, breathing cycle, daily cycle, etc. Autumn. Yeah.
thank you, Xenia.
Thank you, Lilian, as well. Thank you so much. So autumn, it is a play. This is the time of nesting. As I have already told you that we start to come back home. We build our nest. We prepare ourselves for menstruation, for being paused, for relaxing and releasing. This is a high spirituality time. We get insights. Our intuition is high. During this time, it is really positive to do some kind of ceremonies, meditations, working with the candles, or doing some relaxing things, chanting, maybe playing the music, listening the music. Also, this time is the time of out of the box thinking. So actually, you as you come back inside, you come back home, you have an opportunity to zoom out and to look wiser. You expand your vision, and as a result of it, this is the time of problem identification and problem solving. As you expand, as you zoom out, as you think out of the box, you can see clearly also, and you can identify some problems. At the same time, you feel more moody. You already start swinging from good to not very good, let's say. You feel more tired, your energy is is getting low, and you can start to feel in pain. I would like to pay your attention that pain is not natural. Pain is not normal during the menstruation and pre-menstruation time. If you experience any kind of pain, mostly severe pain, really marked pain, it is the sign for you to pay attention, to understand, to observe, to see what is wrong, where I have to work on, what I have to work on, what I have to pay my attention to. Because if you are well synchronized with your cycle, when you have this experience practicing of tracking and synchronizing with every phase, the pain will go, it will be lower. So actually you can feel, of course, a little bit like tension here and tension there. It is normal. But if you feel like strong pain, this is the sign for you. As I have already told on the pre-event, when we were talking about the benefits of menstrual awareness, it is our cycle, and menstrual awareness is our diagnostic tool. So if we feel pain, pay attention. Where, why, what should I observe? How can I solve the situation? What could be wrong with me? And what does this pain want tell me? What does it show me? As I have already told you, if we ovulate well, if we have a good productive ovulation, so our progesterone hormone is rising, it means that our nervous system is more balanced, soothed, and we don't experience so much anxiety, worriness, depression, and so on. Because fall, this is the time where we are more anxious, more out of balance, more nervy, more moody. This is the time to say no. If during the summertime we were saying yes to almost everything and everything new, so autumn is the time for you to learn to say no to the outer world mostly, and to learn to rest. So during this or the autumn time, your exercising will be still you exercise well. I would say it means like you can lift weights, you can do some stamina exercises, strength exercises, yoga. Hatha yoga is very good for this phase, and you can do Pilates, stretching. But also remember that you rest well, you nap, and you sleep at least 7-9 hours per night. Naps are also very recommended because, you know, if you sleep well or you take a nap, you integrate. If you integrate, you heal, you empower yourself. The key words for this phase would be space, truth telling, face the critic. Actually, the inner critic during the autumn time is really strong. So you have to be ready. You have to be ready to face the critics, mostly the inner critic, because this is the time of evaluation and our inner critic is very ready to speak up. So it is important and to be aware and to be ready to face the critics. The superpowers of this time will be questioning and building the boundaries. As we come back home to ourselves, we stop building the boundaries. Okay. Okay. Building the boundaries, and the shadow will be rage, Daisy, and strong inner criticism. So remember, if you are really high during the summertime, you just, before you enter autumn, you tell yourself, summer is going to end and I'm not going to get angry about it. I am entering consciously into my darkness, into my inner space, and I am ready to face my inner critic and maybe some critics from the side. So it is very important to start building your boundaries and set limits. If we talk about food during this time, we start preparing our body to bleed, to release. And so we need to eat a lot of roasted veggies. We eat some complex carbs. We eat a lot of fiber. We get calcium. We get lots of vitamin C and all B complex, mostly B12, because B12 is our strong nervous system. So if any of us here is a vegetarian, vegan, raw vegan, make sure that you take a B12 supplement. It is important. It is very difficult. As an experienced vegetarian, I will tell you that B12, B complex is very important. It's not so easy to balance it. So when you are in your fall and you have tendency to be moody, anxious, rageous, furious, be ready to prepare your nervous system and take B12 supplement. Also, if we drink teas and herbs, rosemary is a really good tea at this time. Personally, I love rosemary tea. First of all, it is relaxing, but at the same time, it helps you to focus very well. It is really good for memory. So, for example, if you need to work at night or evening time, rosemary will help you to focus, to concentrate, to have a good memory, but at the same time, it doesn't accelerate you. So you have enough energy, you are focused, you are centered, but at the same time, if you need to go to sleep, you will do it easily. You are not accelerated, you are not too fast, you are not too boosted. And rosemary is very good for regulating your menstrual cycle. This is really good for regulation. Also, peppermint tea will be very good for you. If you eat fish, you eat cod. Celery is beautiful for this time, and chickpeas. So you can eat hummus, you can eat chickpea salad, you can eat chickpea soup. So chickpeas are really good at this time. Bananas, potassium, very important, dark chocolate. And unfortunately, our skin can experience some troubles. So we can have some acne problems. So our skin is not in the best condition during the autumn. And I have, as I have already told you, between autumn and winter, we have this, the void period of time. It's normally like a couple of days or a couple of hours just before we start bleeding. So autumn is a very important, also, as it is an intermediate phase of our cycle between ovulation and menstruation. It is very important step before you start bleeding. It is a very important season to prepare yourself for menstruation. How do you feel? Would you like to have a short break to shift the energy, to listen to some music? Or we go on?
I'm good either way. I love those rich knowledge and wisdom. Thank you so much.
I know that Catherine had only 1 hour and a half, but Catherine is not here with us anymore. Let's have a short break, like 3 minutes break, just to drink some water, to use a loo, to breathe out, and we will move further. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you as well. Take your time. Well, is everybody back? We are waiting for Kyle and Polly. Polly is back. Kyle is back. Nice. I'm very glad to have you all back. And before I continue with cycle synchronizing, I would like also to talk about some hacks to synchronize with your cycle and talk about supplements. But before I do it, I would like to invite you for interaction. As I have already mentioned before, all of us have a unique system. So all of us have different lengths of cycle. We experience different things. And I would like you to speak up, to share your experience. If you have some questions, or maybe you have some issues or other things to mention, this is your time. So please welcome if there is some sharing, questions, experience, issues to raise. So you are very much welcome. Take your time, raise your hand. Who would like to start?
I can start. Yeah. Okay. So my experience without knowing how to track the moon cycle, my experience was when people ask me, when is your last period? I don't know. Because it will come, right? So one day I realized that I have 2 moon cycle in a month, the beginning of the month and then the middle of the month. And when I was like, why am I buying pad again? Isn't it I just bought, which is I only know that I have a period. And I was like, why am I taking 2 moon cycle in a month? And also I started to, not that I started to track, I started to be aware of my body. And I know that my work is super fast paced. And I know that it's always pushing myself to the limit, just like you say, right? But I never take any pill. But I know that I have to carry a lot of things when I go to meeting. And sometimes I have to stay at home because it's too heavy. So yeah, like second day is always very heavy. And I also have iron deficiency as well. So it's just like my energy is just down, but I take energy pill. But in the plant medicine way, there's a safe thing one, because I need to read what is this. I ask every question. So I took that for just the the second and the third days, so that I can continue, especially 3 p.m. After 3 p.m., it just shoom down. But I can't do that because I have to intentionally either drink and buy another coffee so that I can drive home. Otherwise, I just sleep, or I just died, or just the concentration is a bit out of the whack. So yeah, so I have to probably take 2 coffees a day. And it's really dehydrated. It's like very dehydrated. Because at the end of the day, I can see my skin at home. And then even though I put mask on every night, but it's still I could feel it's very different. And I was like, why is this happening? But again, it's like, I can do a lot of things to make the mask, right? But my body started to yell. And I also know that there's some months I'm missing. It's either 2 in 1 month or no period for 1 or 2 months. And then my pimples started to pop up. I never had so much pimple before. It's all the blockage, like system-wise, it's just all blocked. And my skin started to show. So that's the most thing that I know, which is if I see that and also not only that, that just like you say, my period pain, oh my God, I had to like hug myself. So yeah. But again, that was just the first, second and third day. And I felt really cold on the lower womb side. So at night, I had to do that microwave, what do you call that? The rice. What's the thing, and I have to put it under like the womb side or tatami, and so I can sleep. So yeah, that was my journey. And then which is like that is like shouting, right? It's really bad. And I also found out that it was hard for me to conceive. Like super hard because I don't know my cycle. And then I was like, I have no time to follow this cycle. I even have the apps, I have a book. And at the end, it's just like nothing is done, nothing is read. Because reading my work email is more important than my cycle one. And I just delete the app. No, too much. So yeah. So that is all my journey and my personal experience. So yeah. And then slowly, it just like very, very slowly, I get to know that, oh, you know what, this is actually important. And I actually sat probably just like workshop like this. That's what I really love workshop like this, because you actually education. It's not like something like, like 60 minutes or 45 minutes is free and then you don't, because you actually go into like individual workshop, like to actually journey. And that is how that I think that with this menstrual cycle is part of the journey. Is not like one-off. Like one-off means that everything crammed in one session. You don't get to ask questions. You don't get to understand an open conversation like this to be able to share. So I share this part of it because I know that either here or people outside this live, I know there's a lot of corporate women outside is yelling for the pain every single month. So yeah, that's my sharing.
Thank you very much for sharing your experience. I have already also experienced this, let's say, lack of a cycle, like during 3 months or 4 months. And there is a term for that. Sometimes they say dry cycle, that actually you experience all the phases like summer, winter, you experience autumn and fall, but you don't bleed. But yeah, the skin is in the worst condition at this time, because you don't purge, you don't release, you don't purify. So actually then your skin says, okay, if you don't want to purge, if you don't want to cleanse, I will do it because you have to clean yourself. The body needs to expulse. So one way or another, you will start cleansing. So yeah, if you don't bleed, you have a severe acne problem. Yeah. And I remembered, you reminded me of the situation before I got pregnant. I had this period of time when I didn't bleed for 4 months. I was in my temple that time, so I was very much into my personal spiritual growth. I didn't have any partner. I was actually on their aware consciousness, not having relationship. Like it was my purpose not to have any kind of relationship, sexual relationship for 1 year, and I was doing well, but in the middle of this period of time, I stopped bleeding. So I was okay. I'm not bleeding. I feel good. Maybe it is connected that I'm a raw vegan for a very long time, because I did many physical exercises. I was a super yogi at this moment. I was meditating hours a day, doing 3 hours of yoga, no love, no relationship, no sexuality. So naturally, I stopped bleeding. When I met my partner, a beautiful father of my beautiful son, after a little bit time of relationship, I started bleeding, and I felt like, wow, yes, I came back. I'm so happy. And they said, you are my doctor. Okay, the next month the menstruation didn't come because I was already pregnant. So, but I realized that yes, it is important to release your sexuality, to release your creativity, to really fulfill the purpose of your menstrual cycle. Yeah, but when you do, when you are strong, like every time of activity, you don't let yourself to slow down, you can experience such a phenomena like dry bleeding or lack of menstruation at all. Yeah, thank you very much, Lillian, for sharing. Anybody else who wants to share? Kyle, I saw you writing a lot. Could you could you share what did you get today? How would you like to express yourself as the huge representative of divine masculine?
Yes. Yeah, I was taking lots of notes because it's like being in that being like an artist in that creative flow a lot. It's like really, I learned a lot today to just, I don't rest a lot. I don't slow down. Like I'm always creating, always creating, always creating, always on the go. It's just, I'm always coming up with ideas and inspirations and that. And yeah, this is probably like from the Connect today. It's just, it's now autumn here. So it's like, this is probably will be the first time that like, that I'm setting the intention of slowing down and relaxing, which is, it's a challenge for me, but it's, I think I can do it. So yeah, I think all of the beautiful insights today that you've shared, and like the foods too. Like there's so many foods that I haven't like, that I love that I haven't like eaten, like the chickpeas and like more root vegetables. Yeah, and it's, well, like today, like when I got home, like an hour before the Connect, I started getting like cramps, and I'm like, why? Like why am I getting cramps? And then I was connecting, I'm like, wow, like I really feel for like all that like women go through. I'm like, I'm just getting like a little bit of cramps, and I'm like, I can't even imagine like what the women go through, and they go through this every month. So I was just like drinking warm, like a warm like apple cider to like help cool and like to soothe, and doing deep breathing. Like it comes in waves. But then I'm like, I've been drinking lots of water like the last 2 days, but it's probably like just feeling collectively too as well, right? And I know like men have like a hara, so it's like probably like, it's probably shedding, like I'm probably shedding like old layers of me too, and just clearing out the old as like kind of like cycling through, you know? So yeah, it's just so much wisdom today. Like, yeah, just very grateful, thankful, and blessed. And I'm gonna journey with the women like through the cycles, because I'm like, I'm all about like the archetypes. So like the magician, like the nurturer, all of that. So it's just really taking that into consideration, and like with the wheel of the year. So it's just like from today moving forward, just really, I think I'm gonna make a journal of like how I'm like feeling each day, like my energy levels, just really, really taking a deep dive into like the emotions and all of that. Because I tend to be hard on myself, and I go through, well, I used to go through this period when the seasons changed in autumn and winter, where it's like that seasonal, where you don't get like as much sun. But working with essential oils the last 4 years, I find that I don't really get that as much. So it's just like seeing the shift and the transformation through all of that. I love studying myself, and like like I tend to be really hard on myself too. So this is just a perfect way for me just to like have more compassion, to rest more, to slow down. And yeah, it's really good. So thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, Kyle. You're very much welcome. This is important to embrace both, like feminine and masculine inside, and actually, like tracking the cycle of your life. It implies for women and men as well, because yes, of course, there is a lot of action in men, like you do more, yes. But it is also very much important to slow down, to come home to yourself, to observe from the outside, like if to be inside and have a look outside. Am I having enough rest? Am I too strong with myself, too hard on myself? Thank you very much, Kyle, for sharing. Yeah, thank you so much. I can see Polly have joined us for the first time today. Polly, would you like to share your feelings and if you have learned anything new today, and what is your experience with cycle synchronization?
I'm actually quite lucky in terms of that, because I don't usually have a lot of symptoms other than maybe some breakout once in a blue moon right before my my cycle. But when I was much younger, like when I was a teenager or something, I used to have pain and also sore lower back as well. But then for some reason, it only lasted for just a very short period of time, and I no longer had it, which is great. I actually have a question, because I think that happens to me once in a while, in terms of the color of the blood. Because sometimes I feel like I can see that sometimes it's darker than some days, and I'm not sure why. Sometimes it's like really dark, blackish kind of red, and sometimes it's really bright red. So I'm not sure what that means in terms of, your body conditions, that sort of things. And also another thing I want to ask is that I've noticed that people around me, the women around me, a lot of them already reached menopause in their mid-40s, or sometimes even some of them even like in early 40s. And I've heard that the ideal or the healthiest menopause age is around 60. That's ideal, and I'm not sure if that's true. So I want to know why. Like, I want to know what happens to women these days, and if there is anything that we can do to prolong our menstrual, the cycles, so that we can keep ourselves healthy. And what happened to those women who have their menopause started early? Like, what happened to their body, and what happened to like us in society or in the feminine kind of space? Like, can you tell us more about that, please?
Yes, thank you, Polly, very much for your question. So actually, the color of our blood is the topic of our next workshop. But of course, I'm going to shed a little bit of light for this. Observing the color of our blood, we can also get some signs and signals where we have to pay our attention to. So the darker color, still, if the blood is red or deep red, even if it is darker, it is normal and healthy. Also, sometimes it feels a little bit like yucky, but I always recommend to not only observe the color, but also the smell of your blood. So sometimes it feel like, because of the lots of taboos and etc., we sometimes feel like, wow, how I'm going to do that. But still, you feel when there is something wrong in your body, normally the blood will be or yellowish or like orangish or brownish color. If it is red, deep red, dark red, it is okay. It depends on the intensity of our bleeding. If you had a lot of eggs during your ovulation, what actually you are releasing. And as long as it is red, deep red, and you don't have any like balls or how would I say, I have all other languages words in my head now but English. But yes, if it is not a smooth structure of your blood, if you see some like balls or something, this is the sign that you have to alert, you have to pay attention to your blood. If the color is red, reddish, deep red, it depends on the day of your menstruation, on the intention of your menstruation. What did you experience during the cycle? If you were alerted, stressed, anxious, the blood color always will show. But still, as it is a good, normal smell of the blood, I mean, not intense, not like, I don't know how to say, toxic, you are fine. So it is okay, the blood to change colors from red to intense red, as long as it smells well, as the structure is smooth, and there is no like some, let's say, sometimes you release some, like clogs of the body, like clogs. So at this time you have to pay attention. If you experience a lot of pain during the menstruation, if it is an unpleasant smell, if you have the texture is a little bit different, or sometimes you even feel that something is leaving your womb. So at this time you have to be alert and pay attention. The change of the color from red to intense and deep red is okay. And I am going to talk about it straight next workshop. In 2 weeks we are going to talk about all colors of the blood and all let's say differences, smells, and what color of the blood what wants to tell you. So this is our next workshop topic. And to talk about menopause, it is a very attractive topic for me. Sometimes I feel like I'm already experiencing these days, because I went, it was like half a year ago, I went so much deep into this topic, because my mom actually, she had a early menopause, and it was absolutely painful for her, because she gained a lot of weight in a very short time. She used to have a lot of heat. So actually it was a very negative experience for her. Her menopause came to her at the age of 43, and it is really early. Like average age, first, there are two phases. It's pre-menopause and menopause. Pre-menopause, it's normally from 3 to 5 years. How you can feel that you are entering this stage. And you start from like late 40s, 48, 49, 50, or 50, 55, and then you enter menopause, which lasts, that doctors say, let's say, for 10 years, but there are a lot of women I personally know who are in their 60s, 68, and they still experience the menopause symptoms. I mean, heats, weight gaining, moodiness, and so on. But normally the menopause will last 10 years, and you have 3-5 years before. How you can feel that you enter in premenopause, your cycle is shorter. If normally we have it 5-7 days, it will be 2-3 days, less intensity of blood, and you already start experiencing the heats. Like, I mean, you can feel like hot or sweating at like because of nothing. You just could, your body fill with sweat, you're all wet, and this is the sign that you may enter the menopause already. Why women experience early menopause could be related with different situations. It could be depression, it could be some kind of stress, it could be grief, it could be very fast change in your life, so some disease. So actually, how you could how you thank you, Victoria, how you could help yourself to have your hormonal system in balance. I mean, good diet, exercising. It is very important. Exercises, physicality is very important. If you, for example, I'm not a fan of running, I don't like jogging, and but I really love bicycle. So if it is a question of intensity, you find for yourself what you like. Exercising is very important. If you are good with, if you take good care of your body, you nurture it, you have a good alimentation, you have a good diet, it is a very low risk to enter the menopause early. Yeah, sometimes it is also a question of genes. If you're for example, if in your lineage, in your family, all the women had an early menopause, it is very likely that you can also experience that. But with the lifestyle, you can help yourself and your system to enjoy and to enter the menopause not so early. Yes. When you finally enter, there are lots of changes. I think I am going to develop a project on this topic as well, because it is a very important thing. You know, it is because everything changes: spirituality, sexuality, socializing. You have lots of changes in your body. You feel a lot of dryness outside and inside as well. You could be very moody. You can cry for nothing. The energy becomes lower. There is a high risk to gain weight very fast. So actually, yes, there are lots of changes that women experience during menopause. But at the same time, when you help yourself, I mean, you lived a balanced life emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, you have a great chance to enjoy your menopause as well. Yeah, normally people say that there's 3-5 years before, it is called premenopause. It comes in late 40s, mid 50s. Then you experience menopause like during 10 years. But I have just talked to my aunt-in-law. You know, Mexican families are really huge. I have aunts-in-law, and they are in their late 60s, and we were talking with the one. I was asking her exactly about menopause, and she said, it doesn't stop. You still feel hits, you still feel the symptoms. And she was sharing her experience with the doctor, because she said, like, you know, doctor, I still feel these hits, I still feel this hormonal disorder and all these things. And the doctor said, no, you are like inventing things. This is not true. You are already 66 and you can't experience menopause symptoms. So at the very moment, my aunt became really sweat, like she started releasing a lot of water because she had this heat wave, and the doctor was really surprised. So, and she is not the only woman in the world who still experience this. So we have to be ready that this phase of our life even could never end. But at the same time, if you embrace yourself as you are, without judging, without fighting with the system, you can find the way to enjoy every phase of your life. If it is a teenage, too much sexuality, or let's say lack of sexuality, because during the menopause, you still have lots of, let's say, sacred sexuality, creativity, because sometimes I have already heard a lot of times that the women at their 56, this is like a burst of a creativity, and you open fully, you know. So we all still are to experience this burst of creation, but yes, still we can balance our lives in every phase of our life. Did I answer your question, Polly?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Very thorough.
Thank you. Victoria, would you like to share something today with us? Your experience, how you track? Hello.
Hello. Yeah, thank you so much for the experience, for sharing. I have a question about teenagers, and because I work with kids and kids who see their mom being conscious. That's good and amazing, and they learn from the parents, of course, but some kids don't have the families where they get exposed to this topic early enough. And I would like to know, what do you think is the best time, or how do you speak about it so that the child is not overwhelmed? And what do you think is the best age to do that at?
It is a very valuable question, Victoria. Actually, it is an important thing because it is believed that it is normally you start bleeding at the age of 12, 13, 14, but there are girls who start bleeding earlier, who start bleeding at the age of 9, and there are even some girls who start bleeding at the age of 7, and for them this is not very nice experience, because actually the teenage time, this is the time of when you feel more pain, because you just start and there is a lot of pain. So I think from the age of 7, just in case, to get prepared, that there are really some girls. I also have a student of mine, she started bleeding when she was 9, and I know she's already 14, but she is still suffering because it is a lot of pain. So maybe we could start talking at the age of 7, but slowly, I mean, that we are girls, we have our special rhythms, and we could enter in this period of time, but maybe we shouldn't speak so much about what exercises, what food we eat, or about the creativity, but at least we can already start talking that every woman is going to experience changes, and every woman is going to enter in their feminine, like this puberty time, because sometimes we have so much pimples, like our face could be like full of acne, and this is self-esteem, and it is. But when you start explaining these things, when you start talking about these things, at least you already have an idea that it's going to happen to me sooner or later, and how I can be ready for that. At the same time, during the next workshop, I'm going to talk about different devices, let's say, that we can use during our menstruation, like menstrual cup or pads. And now it is already, they have already designed special discs, silicone discs for the girls, for the very young girls who start bleeding in the very early age. So I think it is a very important question to raise with the girls starting from 8-9 years, because some of us start bleeding early, and it is also connected with the family lineage, or maybe again some stressful situation. So actually you never know, and it is not like very strong limits when you have to start bleeding, because for example, I observe here in Mexico, there are very young families. You see the girl at the age of 15, and she is already pregnant, so we can already understand that her puberty was also very early. So I think this is not only the question of menstruation, this is a huge topic, like sex education, to explain. You can start with a body system, like there are boys, girls, more, yes, and you explain that this is the man's body, this is the woman's body, this is other body, how it all works. And actually the girls can experience menstruation, and as I told before, we menstruate on average 30-35 years during our life, so it is really important to know about that. And if to talk it like to expand this menstruation as a sex education, if you are already menstruating, you should be ready to get pregnant one time, yes. And if you have sexual relationship, and in some countries, mostly in okay, I'm seeing it a lot in South America, that very early pregnancy, a lack of sex education, a lack of menstrual education, as a result, very early pregnancy, and children have children. So I think it is a very important topic to raise for the girls starting from the, let's say, early age, yes, but because at the age of 7, 8, 9, we still see girls like really small creatures. But I think it is very important to already start slowly presenting the information that actually you could experience this in the early age. Victoria,
Thank you so much. Yes, and I have one more question to you. I wanted to ask about the blood clots. I assume probably you're going to speak about it next time, but my question is, when, and it doesn't happen often, but sometimes there are situations when you are having a lot of blood clots. Does it actually mean that it's a bigger release? And usually, of course, it comes with much more cramps and pain. Or does it actually mean that there were more ovary, like more eggs at this cycle? How to differentiate, how to understand, and how to like address that? Do you understand the question?
Yes, thank you very much for your question. It could be both. So actually, you know, when you are more or less aware of your phase of ovulation, yes, let's say, first of all, I would touch the second question. Yes, when you are aware, when you ovulate, you feel this energy inside, and you can, when you are very much deep into the process, you can understand how much eggs you can ovulate. And if you are not pregnant, you release all of them. It could be connected with clots. At the same time, if it was a very stressful situation during the spring and summertime, or if you experience some very much unpleasant situation, it could also be connected with the clots, like, because menstruation is cleansing and like purging. There could be several reasons to release clots. First of all, many eggs, but you didn't get pregnant, so you release all this, you let it go. Or if it was a very stressful situation or tense situation, you can experience the same during the menstruation time. That's why I pay attention again on the summertime, because we really feel high, we are very active and so on, and we don't have boundaries. So sometimes we could be too vulnerable, and we just don't have enough time to put the shield, yes, or you would just experience something really heavy, even if we're ready. So, or we planned too much, or we didn't, we jumped from summer into winter. We didn't experience this autumn time. We didn't enter the menstruation smoothly. So this is the high chance that you will release clots. So yeah, several reasons. The biggest ones, it's a big stress in your life, or some very strong situation, unpleasant situation, and another, many eggs during the ovulation, but no pregnancy.
Thank you, Ksenia.
Thank you as well. Thank you, Victoria, for your question. Jennifer, would you like to share something with us? Okay.
Well, I no, thank you. Sorry.
It's okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Thank you. It's okay. Thank you.
Who else?
Well, there is not much left to say. I would just I would like to share some hacks because we are already 2.5 hours. How do you feel, by the way? Yeah, okay, great. Because yeah, today we have really expanded the time that doesn't exist. But okay, I'm very happy to share with you and to listen to your experience. So I would like to share some hacks of cycle synchronization. So why do we raise our menstrual awareness? Why do we learn to synchronize? We want to make the most out of our cycle, like to change our habits and to align with ourselves first. So if we synchronize the cycle, if we observe, we bring positive changes in our life, we balance our mood, we balance the energy, we balance our brain functioning. So when you tune into your cycle, when you tune into yourself, you give yourself what it really needs. You nurture yourself, and you nurture yourself on all the levels. I mean, mental level, physical level, soul, spiritual level, and your flow becomes easy. Your natural life flow becomes easy. You start enjoying yourself, you stop judging yourself, you stop demanding yourself, and you really embrace yourself as you are. So we have to remember that changes in our life are positive. They changes are also for good, for better, for the best. And when we start embracing the changes, when we understand that after summer goes autumn, and after autumn goes winter, and we are going to experience different hormones. For example, during the winter, all the hormones drop. So we don't feel high, we don't feel low, we just drop. And this is also really good, really good. You release, you take a rest, you feel like, okay, great, I'm not too active, I'm not too low, I am not so sexual and sensual, and I'm not dreaming, I'm just smooth, and I understand that it will also end. And this means making the most of your cycle, of your synchronization. So also the benefits of, I'm sorry, the benefits of menstrual synchronization, of conscious synchronization, is a balance of you balance your hormones naturally. Like when you eat proper food, when you do proper to your face exercises, if you have a proper lifestyle, let's say, your hormones naturally balance, and you naturally prolong your menstruation phase in your life. You don't enter rapidly and fast in your menopause or premenopause. You feel and you look better. You reduce stress in your life. You regulate your period. When you learn to synchronize, you regulate your period. As a result, you avoid pain. You can more or less balance your skin condition. You also optimize your fertility, and we remember that fertility means creation, It means life observation at the same time, and like project making and whatever. And also you reduce negative symptoms during your menstruation. So with the practice of menstruation, synchronization, and cycling, you feel less pain, premenstrual pain, postmenstrual pain, during menstruation pain. You start feeling less pain. You can just observe that there are some signs that you are finishing or you are just starting, but you don't suffer anymore. And while you are tracking, you also understand what is your personal unique length of your cycle, and you understand what phase you are in. When you understand what phase you are in, you start to be conscious of your emotions, of your feelings. So if you feel rages without any reason, you just got angry with a driver on the street and actually he didn't do anything bad, you understand, okay, it is autumn, I am in the darker moment of my time, I come down, I don't shout, and I also accept myself as it is. I don't judge myself, I don't judge the driver. So, or if you feel like, wow, I feel like dating tonight, you also understand, okay, summertime. Yeah, or I don't feel like dating with anyone else, I will better make a date with myself. So it means that I am menstruating, or I am going to menstruate, or I am finishing, or I have just finished, and I prefer to make a date with myself. It is also very important part of our life to make a date with ourselves and to enjoy, to invite yourself to the park, to invite yourself for a piece of cake, and just give love to yourself. So also, I would like to pay one more time attention. It is possible to track and synchronize with your cycle when you are on hormonal birth control, but it would be very much more difficult, because as your ovulation is suppressed, your hormones are not changing too much, and it is more difficult to observe. But it is also recommended when you are in premenopause, menopause, or birth control, you can observe the changes of the moon. So you don't observe your personal moon, but you still can somehow observe the changes of the moon, and you also can track your cycle like this. In case you experience premenopause, menopause, or you are on birth control, hormonal birth control, I would also like to pay attention that and like to mention that sometimes hormonal birth control really saves life, and sometimes it is really necessary for some women, so we don't also judge. It is important thing also to mention, because some women really need this stage of their life, so we just if there is a chance to stop, and it will take time, but still it is a possibility to learn to synchronize with your cycle. Just a second, my battery is low. 1 second, please.
How are you doing, Daisy?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm in the middle of thinking.
Wow.
This is called creativity flow. Got it?
Yes.
I'm also created already a code already, so finish. So we'll show you later. Xenia, you continue.
Yes.
Thank you. So yeah, we have very productive session today, I feel. So a short help list and some natural supplements, and we call it the end. First of all, the first thing to remember, I have already mentioned it several times, the phase will end wherever you are, in the darkest time, in the brightest time. You are conscious and aware that every phase will end. So in order to enter every phase smoothly, you remember that everything has the beginning and the end. And if you really feel very painful and very low and very sad and very depressed and then very anxious, remind yourself it's not forever. And it really helps. Accept yourself. Accept yourself. Don't try to fix yourself when you are really sad, and don't try to fix yourself when you have a high sex drive. It's okay. It will also end. Yes. And don't try to fix yourself. Don't judge yourself for being sad or for being too active or being too vulnerable or being too much and too active and whatever. It will also come to the end. Always look for the reasons of your behavior. When you observe the phases of your cycle, when you really understand in what phase you are, you can see and you find the reasons of your behavior. So if you are rageous and you understand that actually there is no reason to be so angry or so anxious, you find the reason. You try to understand, first of all, what phase, what is the background of this feeling, and what can I do to feel better without fixing and judging yourself at the same time. Always remember that we have to take time away from the others. We are not always giving. We always make our personal, spiritual, physical, soul needs meet. We also develop self-care, self-love, and we also meet our needs. We allow ourselves to make mistakes. We allow ourselves to fail. We allow ourselves to slow down. And okay, yes, Lillian, with great pleasure. I will. Is this slide that I shared, is it okay for archetypes? Yeah, okay. And it is very important to release the creativity. Yeah, you draw, you dance, you sing, even if you are not you don't accumulate your projects, your creations, you release your creativity. When there is time to paint, you paint. When there is time to dance, you sing, you play musical instrument, you develop a project. So you release your creativity. We don't accumulate darkness, we don't accumulate a light, we release everything, like we let it go. We don't make everything stuck. And always we remember that changes are healthy. Changes are always for the better, always for good. Even at the same moment we don't feel like that. With time we understand that yes, it was a necessary, important, healthy, natural thing. Well, I have two presents for you. The first present is natural supplements that could really help you during every phase. First of all, cinnamon. Cinnamon, as you know, that we during the menstrual cycle, we are more or less sensitive to insulin, to sugar. Yes, sometimes we really feel like we need a lot of sugar. So cinnamon helps you to regulate blood sugar and our sensitivity to insulin, to sugar, and it lowers the fast blood in glucose, sugar in our in our body. Magnesium is also very important. You can take it as a supplement, as a pill, as a vitamin, or you can find magnesium in lots of foods, and it improves your insulin sensitivity. It controls your blood sugar, and it helps you to regulate your metabolism. So it is really important. The next one will be curcuma, turmeric. Perfect root, perfect supplement for lots of things, a huge list of things to help. But in menstruation case, bloating, if you feel inflammation, if you feel bloated, like sometimes you bloat like you are already pregnant on your 5th month and you feel like, oh, so take a cup of hot turmeric infusion, and in a short time you will feel way better. And it also helps to improve insulin sensitivity. The next one is omega-3. You can find it in different foods. It could be sesame seeds, it could be chia seeds, it could be flax seeds. Also, you can find it in lots of fish like salmon, cod, and it is very essential for fatty acids. Hemp, also walnuts are rich in omegas, and it improves your insulin sensitivity, and it lowers their cholesterol. So if you are a fan of fats, omega-3 is also very important. Combination of omega-3 with D vitamin, you will balance your testosterone and inflammation at the same time. Vitamin D improves your immune system. It helps to also avoid inflammation. And the last but not the least is zinc. It is very good immune system, healthy, like strong immune system, strong defense system. It helps you to grow and repair body tissues. And it helps in many reactions of your body, and also it also helps to balance testosterone in your body, and it helps with acne and moodiness. So, and the last present, but also very important one. Last time we were doing the oxytocin breathing. Today we are going to learn self-massage to harmonize our hormones. So I believe that you may know that it is very important for women to touch their breast and to massage, to make self-massage, to do. It is a very good practice for a partnership as well. Okay, you tell me if you see me well. It is not important if you do it right now with me. It is a very easy exercise, but it's a very important one. If you want to prolong your menstruation life and shorten your menopause, I strongly recommend you and advise you to make this self-massage. It is very pleasant and very useful. So what you do, you raise your left hand, and you go down like lymphatic. You do this with your left hand, and with your right hand, you do this. So your movement will be like this. You go down, up, down, up. You do with the first, then you do the same thing with on the other side. You go down, a lymphatic movement, and you go up. So you practice as long as you want. Then you take 2 hands and you go down and up. Again, you go down and you go up again. So it is very important to massage yourself, to touch. First, it is also very important diagnostic tool. You check yourself if you have any pain any clots. So you diagnose yourself because you know, yeah, there are lots of cases now, unpleasant cases. So you do this massage, yeah, this and this. You help yourself to. It has also very positive result in the questions of beautiness. Yeah, if you massage yourself this way, you will have a like strong breast, you know. You don't need to wear, of course you do this exercise without bra. If you use one, you put some top, or better you just put some t-shirt without any bra or top, and you just massage yourself during 5, 10, 15 minutes, and you can practice as often as you want. Yeah, so these are my presents to you. I hope you enjoyed our long, productive session today. If you still have any questions, I am ready to listen to you. And if you want to share something else, you're welcome. Take your time and let's slowly finish our workshop.
Thank you, Xenia. Daisy, do you want to share your drawing?
Oh, I haven't finished yet, but I want to comment first few things about the massage. The channel along here, stomach. Wait, first the breast itself is stomach, and then the channel around here is the liver. Sorry, I made a mistake. Which is like a lot of time our tension, our stress all pent up here, and also our menopause to help it to ease fully, and also to help our period. And because like you think about our period is the time when we're gonna be like release our tension, if we give it the time to gracefully easing out that tension. And so yeah, and sometimes I just like just to hold my breath and just to meditate and rest. I can feel like my body is saying thank you, like it's like holding a sanctuary. Yeah, exactly like what Kyle is demonstrating. You just allow yourself to rest, almost like you're holding your inner self like a baby. Just like create this cradle, just allow the self, the being held in that dreamy space. Like kind of like liver is like the function of the dream, like kind of like whatever our food, our digested through the stomach, and it's the liver like refine it, allow to have this feeling of you have a deep breath, like a waking up, that kind of sensation in the morning time. And a lot of time when we don't have enough sleep or don't give body enough rest, we don't have the feeling of like blossoming, like the spring kind of feeling. So like allow the self just rest, like take off the bra and just rest, just holding the self like that. It just feel really good when Xenia like showing us this demonstration. I feel, oh, my body is waking up, saying thank you, thank you. Yeah, I just want to share that. Thank you so much, Xenia. Really
thank you, Daisy. I really love when you start bringing up this Chinese medicine. You know, it is a very good reminder. I'm not so good at Chinese medicine. I'm just a beginner, but I really love it because it is so complete. It is because it is so holistic. I really love it, and it is very important to eat. To take foods during your menstruation that will support your liver. You are absolutely right. It is important to support your liver, mostly when you bleed. And exactly this, as you say, or this, or when you hold yourself, this we call in Mexico apapacho, apapachar, to give love to yourself or to somebody else. Yeah, this is beautiful. I'm all goosebumps, you know. I feel so excited. I love it. Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you so much, Xenia.
Yeah. Will you share your painting afterwards?
Oh, yes. I forgot to share it.
Wow. This is exactly, this is our inner spring, inner autumn, inner winter, and inner summer. This is exactly what we are talking about today. Beautiful.
Yeah, I
Thank
feel like
you.
it's similar with what you're wearing too. It's kind of like the Mexican, the Mayan medicine that coming through, right? That wisdom. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow, beautiful. Thank you. This is the present from my father-in-law.
Oh,
Yeah, it is like a fresh. I saw that Lillian and Victoria got their presents recently. So valuable. So I got mine as well. Yeah. And yes, this is the from Chiapas. It is from the Pacific coast, very close to Guatemala. It is called Guatemalteco. Yes, it is like Mexican Guatemalteco style. Okay.
I also would like to share the code, which is apparently similar colors. I didn't notice about that when I was doing, and I didn't think about the seasons when I was doing, but it was the code for confidence and trust in yourself, which was my experience recently, and I thought that it would be useful for some of you as well. Thank you so much, Ksenia.
Thank you, Victoria. Yeah, we are very aligned today. I feel so happy. You know, yeah, thank you, Victoria. It's, you know, I feel very differently from today from the first time. Yeah, I feel more confident, and I feel more at ease, more flowy, let's say. Yeah, I really appreciate your attention, your help, your support, your strong hands behind my back, and I'm very happy. I have so much drive now for the for the following
Can I share my
workshop.
quote as well?
Yeah, sure. Woo.
Balance of inner fire, so that know your body, know your cycle, know your seasons.
Wow.
There you go.
Great. This is so fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll share it on the Facebook group or in Pachamama Facebook group.
Victoria, could you share yours as well with in the Pachamama temple? Like we will do collection of workshop codes. Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, is it okay if I don't share it there? I'm not sure I'm ready. It's a very
it's
sacred
okay.
one, so I just want to share it with these people, but not outside of that yet.
Yeah, it's
But
okay.
we will
Of
spell
course.
it.
Yes, of course. It's okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I was guided by Dan George recently not to share everything with everyone because we need to respect the sacredness of the codes which we receive. Sometimes it's just for us, just for this, just for here.
Yeah. Time away from the others. Come home to yourself. Yeah, this is very important thing also to mention. How do you feel? Do you feel complete, happy, driven?
Yes, thank you so much, Xenia, for a very, very valuable workshop. So yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your attention, your time, your support, your interest in the topic, and your interest of self-growth. And I really love Kyle being presenting here like a representative of divine masculine, and you are so much aligned with us women, Kyle. I would like to share, I would really like to share a feedback from my sister. She was looking the pre-event, and she said, okay, everything is really good and interesting, but I don't understand. What is Kyle doing there? And I said, okay, it is a natural thing, because Kyle it is an open workshop, and we hear and invite both masculine and feminine to raise the topic, to develop. And the other message was the world is so fortunate and blessed with such a person like Kyle. So thank you so much, Kyle, from the Gordeev's family. From me and my sister, and on behalf of all the women, we show our respect and grateful to you, and all the women who are here and will be watching us, and men as well. I bow in front of all of you, and I really appreciate your interest in this topic. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. If we all feel complete, we say goodbye to each other.
Hi. Unmute and say
Bye-bye.
goodbye.
Thank you.
Love you
See
all.
ya.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Love you all. Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.